Hello guys, and welcome to today's video. And in this video I will show you how to create this satisfying animation in Blender. And this video is a recreation of an animation done by Asalan Hasnan. You can go ahead and check him out on YouTube. So let's jump right into it. In this video we're going to focus on the color change of the ball when it dips into the fluid. And also we are going to look at how to create this wave effect on the fluid itself. Right, I've removed all the effects and you can see the ball just dips into the fluid and nothing happens. And for the fluid, it's just a circle with a face that I filled with a face. So put that in position, and if you go into the edit mode, you can see that I did a grid fill of the circle. You add the mesh, the circle, go into edit mode, and then we can select all the vertices. And if you go to the face, you can click on grid fill and you have this. So this is what you want to create. I bet you know how to do that already, so let's get right into it. Next step, what you want to do is add a subdivision modifier to this circle. So add modifier subdivision surface, and then we can leave it at simple, and do this for all the circles that represent the fluid. So just go add subdivision surface, leave it as simple, add modifier subdivision surface, simple. All right, now the next step, you guys definitely know how to add a material, like, so it's that simple. You just go click on it, material tabs, new material, set the color, base color to what you want, and you can play with the specular and the rest. You know how to do that already, so let's go on to the more difficult part. Now we want to go into the dynamic paint part. So you can select this ball and then go to our physics and turn on dynamic paint. You can also do this by going to modifiers, add modifier, and add dynamic paint physics. Anyone. Let's go to our physics properties. Okay. So for the first effect, we want to create that color change on the ball when it drops into the fluid. So to do that, we select the sphere because it's it that we're going to be painting on. So it should be the canvas, and click on apply. And now under the settings, we want to render the format as image sequence. You can leave the resolution like that, and then surface paint type paint. There's a position for the initial color, so you want to put an initial color for it. So let's select color. Now for this color, there's one thing you have to do to maintain the same color throughout. It's good that you go and copy the color code. So if you go to this material, go to your shader editor. Trust me, this process, this will save you like a lot of stress with the colors. So go to the color, go to hex, and then copy the code. And then come here under hex, paste that code there. So you have the exact same color. So we are going to be file format PNG sequence. That's where we're going to bake it in paint maps. So that's okay. Then here you select the folder where you want the textures to be created. So I can just go ahead and create a new folder for this. So accept, and that's where I want the baked PNG sequence of the color to be saved. Then we select the fluid, and for the fluid we want to add dynamic paint, and then we change that to the brush because the fluid is going to be the brush that we're using to paint on the sphere. We select the brush and then add brush. Now the paint color is going to be the color of this fluid. So where we want to set the paint color, we'll just go to the fluid, the material, select the material, copy this color code here and paste it. So that's the color we are going to use and paint on the sphere. And then for the source, we want to change this from mesh and volume to proximity. So how close it is, how close the sphere is to the plane. So for the proximity distance, we want to set the distance to 0.1 and change the follow from smooth to constant. So this will create that straight line on where the color intercepts with the sphere. Don't worry, you get it when we simulate everything. So that's for that. The rest, you don't need to touch the settings there. Depending on the specs of your system now, you can run these two dynamic paint effects simultaneously, but I advise that you run them one after the other. So you first run for the ball dipping in the orange color, and then at the frame where you want to dip into the white color, you run another dynamic paint separately. So I will walk you through the process. So we select the sphere, which is the canvas, and then we click on bake image sequence. So depending on your PC, this should be pretty fast because we are not really doing anything super complex here. We are not seeing anything displaying. Yeah, but that's no problem. All you have to do is, in order to see what we baked, we have to select this sphere, go to the shader editor, and then we want to import this baked sequence. So Shift A, texture image sequence, and then we locate that our folder, color dump, select the first image in the sequence, that's 001, import, put that here, 280 frames, that's the total frames. So let's connect this color to the base color. Frame start frame 1 and click on auto refresh. So let's go back to our timeline. So now if you see, as we press play, the ball dips in the orange fluid and comes out orange. Exactly what we wanted. And now it dips into the white fluid, but it doesn't make any change to the ball. So like I said, we'll do them one after the other so our system does not lag. So we'll go to the first one, and then we want to remove the dynamic paint effect from it. So let's go there and switch it off. Come to the white one, add dynamic paint, change this to brush, add brush, paint color. Since we want to paint it with this white color, go shader editor, select it, select the base color, copy the color code under hex, come here, paint color, paste it there. So that will be the color we'll be painting with. Come here, change it to proximity, distance 0.1, fall off, change it to constant, and that's just about all you need for the settings. And for the ball, we still have the same thing. So we want to bake this effect, this dynamic paint, on the already existing one. So we are not changing the output part of the file, but then we are going to change the initial color, but because it already had an initial color of orange from the first dip in the orange fluid. So we'll go here to the color, and then we want to select this orange fluid and copy the color code of the orange fluid. Okay, come back, dynamic paint, initial color. So remember, the initial color first was the ash color, and now since I've dipped this in the orange fluid, the initial color now for the white paint is going to be the orange color. Put that in, so we can maintain the same color across. We can start baking from when it's close by, that's here. So let's just say 104, frame start 104, and we'll bake it all the way to the end. Baking it on top of the same file in the same folder, so we won't change our catch path. All right, so let's click on bake in sequence. Now if you press play, you see that the color has changed once we dipped it in the white part. So don't worry about this, when it's on frame 0, it's showing a pink color because the dynamic paint effect only bakes from the first frame, from frame 1. So if we preview the animation from here, you see that it dips in the orange paint, it turns orange. It dips in the white paint, it turns white. And now we want to do it for the green paint. So for this green paint, let's remove the dynamic paint effect first from this one. Now come to the green one, add dynamic paint, change to brush, add brush. Now the paint color is going to be this green color, obviously. Go to shader editor, copy the code, come here to paint color, and then paste the code there. And then we'll have the same shade of green. So then for the ball, we want to change the initial color. But this time we are going to put the initial color as no color. No color. So for the third one, the green one, we are going to push the initial color as no color, none. And then we are going to change the file path. We want to do this one separately so we can overlay it on the already existing effect. Create a new one. Let's say a new folder, can name it another one, color, second color dump. Can name it anything. And accept. So in order to do this right, for the green one, let's go back to the dynamic paint effect. We want to bake it from the beginning to the end. So let's select this sphere. Change it from frame start 1. We'll start at the first frame. Set the initial color to none. Go. We created a new path for this color. This was our second color dump folder. So accept that. And then let's bake it. To bake it for all the frames. Okay. So now let's import it. Go to your texture, image texture for the first frame. Right. Import sequence. And then we'll add a mix shader, a mix color, and mix the color. Put the one for the green under and use the alpha as the factor. So let's go and play it, and you see it works. So that part, it can get a little tricky while you're doing that, but so don't forget, for the third one, the green one, we are going to bake all the frames, and then we'll overlay it on top of the sphere, just as shown. So for the first part, the color change, we have that done. Now the second part, we want to create the wave effect when the ball interacts with the fluid. So to do that, let's go ahead and clear this dynamic paint effect. And like I said, since we don't want our PC to be slow, that's why we do each of the effects one by one, unless I noticed that I experienced some crashing issues when trying to run all these simulations at the same time. Create the wave effect on the first fluid. We select it. Remember, we added the subdivision surface. This is where that is useful. Add physics, dynamic paint. This time, the brush is going to be the sphere. So let's remove this dynamic paint effect, or just change it on this sphere, change it to brush. So now this sphere is going to be the brush, and we'll click on apply brush. This color now, it doesn't matter. You can leave it as mesh volume. Then we go over to the circle here, and then add canvas. We'll leave the format on vertex. As you can see here with our camera setup, this first circle only shows for, about 130 frames. But let's say about 149 frames, we have the first fluid showing. So we can end the simulation for that fluid there. Let's go before this one starts its own. Let's say 143. And that will be the end of the first one. Then we'll start the second one. So let's go back to the settings. To create the wave effect, we'll go change the surface type from paint to waves. And now, in order not to waste time with the setup, we are going to use the same values I use for my time, scale, speed, damping, spring, and smoothness. Most of the time, you will just play with these values to get a good effect. If you see with the default values, if I press play, it's affecting it, but we're not getting nice fluid simulation. The animation I did, what worked for me was setting my time scale at 1.50, my speed at 1.54, damping was 0.14, spring, you can put that to 1, smoothness 1.16, 1.16, and then so let's play it again. So you see we have gotten a way better fluid simulation there. So you just do the same thing for this. This is like an easier part. You turn on the textures. This is kind of straightforward. Do the same thing for the 3 fluids. Go to the next one, add dynamic paint. Our sphere is already set as brush, and the source is the paint. The source of the paint is the mesh volume. That's the volume of the sphere. So we'll go here to the circle, add canvas, leave its format vertex. We want to start simulating this one from when the ball is close to the fluid. So 107. Don't forget to always save, guys, because you don't want to lose your progress in case your system crashes or something like that. So the second one starts. Let me see. Let's just end it where it's about here. 171. Frame 171. So end the animation there. So another thing you want to do to make this animation look smooth, like for the first one, you can increase the sub steps to get a smoother motion of the fluid. The one I used for my animation was 3 sub steps. So you can set it to 3 to get the smoother fluid motion. But for this video, let me just leave it off for now. Change it from paint, that's around the white circle now. Change it from paint to waves. And then the values I used for mine was 1.5 for the time scale. The speed 1.54. Damping 0.14. Spring 1. And smoothness 1.16. So let's press play. And you can see we have the same effect created. And go to the next one, do the same thing, add dynamic paint, canvas, leave it on vertex. We start simulating when the ball is about to hit the fluid. So let's say frame 180, frame start 180 to the end. Change it from paint to waves. Values I used for the last one, 1.50. Speed 1.54. Damping 0.04. Okay, sorry, that's spring 1 and smoothness 1.16. So like you don't have to use the same values as mine because different values might work better for you while you are doing yours. So just play around with these values to get the best kind of animation that suits your scene. So you see we have it affect the third fluid. So for the first, the second, the third. So you can set up your camera and press play and you're done with this animation. I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video.